Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Graveyard Shift. We are your hosts, Josh and Missy Graves, and we're back here to yap.
Woo!
Just yippity yap.
Special Memorial Day edition of Yap.
Yeah, a day late. Hopefully only a day late. Because I was on a trip last week for how long? I was only gone, 3 days? Thursday,
Yeah, you left Thursday.
Friday, Saturday, 4 days. 4 days, but it was enough to make Josh really sad. So sad that he had to find things to do.
It's tough. Had to go golfing.
Yeah, you did golf. You also finished our garden bed, which is really the big thing. So maybe I'll finally get to grow vegetables.
It's only been a work in progress for like a month and a half at this point.
Yeah, so long. So much longer than it needed to be.
Well, listen,
but we're here.
There was you couldn't buy cedar for a while, and we started with 2x4s of cedar. We finished with 2x6s of cedar. I went to Lowe's.
It's a little mixed matched, but it works.
It works. You can't really tell if unless you really look for it, but
Yeah.
because it's only two sides and the other one, two, three, four sides.
Yeah.
They're the 2x6s. But yeah, so I went to Lowe's just to see if they had any, and I also needed weed eater lawn. And when I was there, I saw that they had 2x6x4 boards of cedar, and I was like, oh, that's actually what I wanted to begin with, but they didn't have any in stock. So I bought all of the boards that they had, which was only 10. So yeah. Then I was able to complete the job.
It was just enough.
What was crazy too is that they actually fit in the grooves the way that the boards were supposed to. The story with the other boards is that the 2x4s that we started with did not fit the groove on these stones that we were using as the corner pieces. Even though they were the same 2-inch diameter, however, they did not fit. So I had to use a circular saw and saw down all of the ends of those boards to try and make them fit.
You had a good time.
I was so frustrated. But
you enjoyed it, don't you?
The job is done now. I leveled it multiple times yesterday. Had my shuffleboard with a level on top to make sure that the gravel was completely even across the whole thing.
It looks really good.
I'm
Maybe
happy.
Today we'll get to fill it. We need to get more stuff to fill it probably, but
yeah.
But whatever, it's done. The hard part is done, and now we just get to grow vegetables.
Yeah.
I think. Is that what I don't know. We'll figure it out.
I don't know. You got a sick weed going right now, though.
So we have these containers, 2 little containers, what are they called? Like flower pot things out there next to it. And I noticed some weeds were growing in it, and I was like, let's just see where this goes. Too lazy to pull it, and it's not like it was hurting anything. That guy is, he's tall.
He's at least 3 feet tall at this point.
He's not even exaggerated. He is tall. He's a tall boy. And one of them is a pretty flower, so I don't know where that came from, but I'm not mad about it.
Yeah, no.
So
it's a nice touch.
Plants are wild.
True.
So wild. But yeah, other than that, I drove Mom up to visit family and flew back, abandoned her there to fend for herself, her and her dog. So we'll see. We'll see how long she stays. Maybe a month, maybe a year. I don't know. I haven't booked my flight to go back and get her, so.
Play it by ear.
Play it by ear. Yeah. I thought we had more to talk about this week, but I'm not sure we do.
Good trip to Omaha?
It was good. Yeah. A lot of driving, but
Yeah.
Be like that. 13 hours or something.
Yeah, you spend 6 of that in Missouri. Just takes forever. There's nothing.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, I want to get some food. There will be a Chipotle in 80 miles here.
80 miles.
And the next thing you know, you're on the University of Missouri campus.
That was Chipotle. A wild time.
That was. Literally, there is nothing for miles on that highway. And then out of nowhere, there's just the University of Missouri. And you know what's past that? More nothing. It is.
Absolutely nothing. We accidentally went to the Chipotle on Missouri's campus last time we were driving through.
Really don't know how Missouri recruits players for sports, because if I was touring SEC schools
Yeah.
And I went to like Florida or LSU and
Yeah.
saw the stuff that they had around them, and then I went to Missouri and saw that there was nothing, I would have a hard time
Missouri.
being
That's
sold
for
on
damn
Missouri.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. We had no idea we were even close to the campus. That's how,
No.
yeah, shocking.
And it was quite
Completely
literally
shocking.
like you're hungry for lunch, you're looking at the maps, you're punching in, restaurants around you. It was just like McDonald's, and honestly, it may have just been McDonald's that I remember seeing when we were
It
driving
wasn't.
home.
Yeah. Yeah.
There were no options. And then, you zoom out a little bit and you see the Chipotle pop up and you're like, "Oh, there we
That
go."
sounds good.
Yep, hour 15-minute drive.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
ridiculous. But yep, you went to
We did it.
Omaha, had a good
I
trip.
went to Omaha. Yeah. The Omaha airport is, you thought our airport in Knoxville was in a state. The Omaha airport is going through some things right
Yeah.
now. Yeah, it was crazy. I don't think I told you this. No, yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. And then the Chicago airport is so long.
So long.
It's so long. And
I
there's
remember.
like with how big it is, you would think that there would be better food options, but it was just Starbucks and McDonald's and then Starbucks again and then Starbucks three more times. Like I want actual food. I don't have time to sit down.
Yep.
Let me just eat this wilted Caesar salad wrap.
They like, I really feel
Waste of
like they
time.
have a potential to put in like a restaurant or something for each airport that's like one healthy option. At least like each concourse gets a healthy option that has like fresh food.
Well, but then okay, well it's either a sit down restaurant or it's that like they have those like vending machines that are like salads and wraps and stuff,
Yeah, but
which is a nice idea, but then it's like this it's just sitting in there,
mhm.
the
Well,
salad and the with the
I think it was one of the like connector airports that we were in last summer, but I remember seeing the salad. It was like the salads in a jar, and
yeah,
they
that's
were
what I'm
in
talking
the
about.
vending machine.
Yeah,
Yeah, all of the lettuce just looked super wilted,
exactly.
and I was like, okay, well that looks gross. That
Great idea. How can we make the execution better?
Yeah, I really think you just have like a restaurant type deal. They need like a
Yeah, but
clean
then you
eats,
what about when you're in a hurry?
clean eats. Have them like pre-made foods.
Cleaning. Yeah.
That's
Nobody's
not.
gonna know what that is outside of Knoxville.
That's true. It's a meal prep
It's like
thing, but that you
but it's
can.
like a restaurant.
Yeah, so you can go in, you can get some stuff, and they'll make it for you fresh, or
Yeah.
they have a bunch of freezers with like frozen foods that they had made fresh, no preservatives or anything like that, and they're all like health conscious type deals, so higher protein, lower fat.
Honestly,
Very,
yeah. Clean
very
Eats, if
good.
you're watching this, get in the airports.
Yeah,
We need your services.
yeah. Hundo
Yeah.
percento.
Because they do it right. They do it right.
They do. All right, on to
Anyway, should
sports.
we like actually start talking?
Yeah.
All right, midnight snacks. What there was quite a bit that happened in the sports world this past week, I feel like.
Yeah.
It was a busy week all around.
Yeah. So you
So
had well, for starters, Jim Irsay passed away. Jim Irsay was the owner of the Colts. He is the youngest general manager for an NFL team in history. I believe he was 24 years of age when he was a GM. He took over the team when his father passed away. He was also a young lad when he did that.
I'm glad.
But Jim Irsay, if you were online, you probably saw at least one person, one former athlete posting about their time with Jim Irsay. Peyton Manning said that Jim Irsay is the only reason that Indianapolis became a football town.
Yeah.
They're historically a racing town, the Indy
Oh yeah.
500, which
I
just
guess
took
that makes
place this
sense. I've
past
never thought of
weekend.
that.
And they're also a basketball town. However, Indiana basketball has not been super relevant. However, we'll get to it later. Indiana Pacers are doing quite well right
Doing
now.
pretty good. Yeah.
But with that, so Jim Irsay, a lot of players that formerly played for him came out, said what a phenomenal human he was, but it was extremely unexpected.
Yeah. Sad.
Pat McAfee cried on air when he was talking about him because it was like when Pat wanted to retire, he went into the office and he had a 2.5 hour meeting with Jim. And initially, Jim tried to talk him into staying on the Colts. But
Yeah.
I think after about like 15 minutes, he realized Pat's not going to stay. So the next 2 hours were Jim
Just intense.
teaching him how to run a business and things like that.
All
So
right.
it was like,
What?
Pat, if you're going to be the owner and the manager of this thing, do you think you can fire somebody? And then like talked him through all of that. And he's like, you'll never forget that if you do have to fire somebody, your first person that you fire, like that's going to stick with you. But yeah, Jim Irsay, Pat would have him on the show every once in a while, and it wasn't even like Pat reaching out to him. Jim would reach out to Pat and ask if he could be on the show, and it's like, yeah, absolutely, you can be on the show. And he was just a chill dude. That was the vibe that I got from everybody that I've seen talk about him said that he was a great philanthropist. He did try and transport a whale at one point that was at an aquarium in a pool too small. He had set up a whole thing off like the coast of Washington so that the whale could be taken and put into the ocean and then like in a confined area but free flowing ocean and then eventually rehabilitate the whale to put it out into the actual like full ocean. However, it didn't, yeah, he was going to, the crazy part about this, that's not the crazy part. The crazy
That's
part
not
was
the
that
crazy part. Okay.
the whale needed to be transported. So he had an AC-130 that he was going to fill with salt water to put the whale in to transport it cross country.
I've never thought about transporting all the animals in the zoo and in aquariums. Like, how do the animals get there? I've never thought about that.
For sure, got to be trucks, right?
Well, not like a giraffe. Like,
That's a good point. I don't
that's
know.
gonna be like a helicopter, yeah?
I got no clue.
I have no idea. I've never thought about this before, but and like elephants? How are you transporting an elephant?
You need to text Sammy's wife
Yeah.
for
I need help. This is
listeners.
important.
Sammy is a guy that was in Missy's master's program, and his wife works for a zoo.
Yeah, at least did. Hopefully she still does.
Yeah, I think she was going to the Atlanta Zoo.
Yeah.
Because he got a job in Atlanta. All right, bringing that full circle.
This? Hold on.
But yeah, so while she Googles giraffe information here, Jim Irsay passed away. He had some health issues, but all in all, I think you could say that he is what everybody wishes their owner would be like. Made some mistakes, but at the end of the day, he was a caring person.
Yeah, well, sad.
Tony Dungy put out a pretty like nice message about him. Kind of pulls on the heartstrings a little bit, yeah. Tony Dungy, former head coach for the Indianapolis Colts. He was there when Peyton won the Super Bowl. Before retiring. So that was all I had on Jim Irsay. Do you have anything?
No, it looks like they use a variety of methods to transport animals.
Yeah. So. There you go. The more you know. The more you know.
It just depends.
Yeah, I think like I was watching this documentary one time about it, and there were like these animals that were trying to get back to their home of Africa. They ended up in Madagascar. But what they did is they hijacked a boat. So they were getting shipped across on the freighter.
Was this a documentary?
Yeah, it was a documentary. What was crazy is that it was a multi-part documentary. In the second part of the documentary, they're trying, so they end up in Madagascar because they couldn't drive the boat very well. But anyways, so they're trying to get themselves to Africa from Madagascar. So they build a plane. It's wild. Isn't that like penguins did it too, you know?
Honestly, the wildest part of the whole thing is that the animals could like talk to each other, you know?
Have you seen this documentary too?
Yeah. Yeah.
We should go back. We should go rewatch this at some point. I haven't seen.
We can watch these tonight while I'm editing. Yeah. Okay.
I haven't seen the Madagascars in a hot minute. Oh wait, I can't watch that yet. I have to finish my Mission Impossibles.
No, we can.
I have been grinding the Mission Impossibles so that I can go see the new one in theaters. I have watched 5 so far in the last 3 days.
while I
may,
was out of town. Let's
uh,
make this noted. So
yeah, Missy is not a huge Tom Cruise fan,
I'm not
so
like, I just, I'm not like as obsessed as you are.
I'm not
You
obs-
do this with all of the action movies.
I
Like you
do it
get
with
on
every
kicks
movie.
and you have to watch all of them.
If I'm
And like,
going to watch something that's in a movie series, I have to watch the whole series. I can't just like sit down and watch one movie and then not finish it, you know?
but you
Like
never want to watch Twilight with me.
I think that's self-explanatory. Those are the worst made movies I think
That's
in
take it back.
history.
They're
No,
a cultural
terrible.
phenomenon. That's
They're
what they
terrible
are.
is what they are.
They're a
Listen,
cultural phenomenon.
I never read them, but I can admit that a lot
You,
of people seem to love the books. However, sitting down and watching those movies, they are so poorly made.
they are. Okay, we're getting way off track here, dude.
Oh, here's some vampires and they're running really fast, but they look like they're running slow because they're not having to put in a lot of effort. But
Hold on.
they look
I have a
like,
spicy take.
you know what they look like? They look like when you're at the airport and they have those little like, treadmills on the ground that you can walk on and walk really fast.
That's
That's what
exactly
it
what it
looks
looks like.
like. Yeah,
I have a spicy take.
let's hear it.
Twilight is a sports movie. They play baseball.
The one baseball scene.
It's like a cornerstone of of the plot because that's how the other vampires find him and then they smell her and then they like have to have her and then it's like the climax of the movie,
Uh,
you
yep,
know?
yep.
So ergo, it's a baseball movie. Okay, anyway, the Tush Push did not get
Yeah,
banned.
yeah, well, yeah.
The
I'm
Tush
wait.
Push did not get banned. So first, I thought maybe it would be good to because we want the show to be for newer or casual fans, right? Maybe you don't know everything that's going on, and I'm sure you probably saw things about the Tush Push going on, and you're like, what the hell is Tush Push?
Quite a
So
bit of
we're gonna
hoopla around it.
start quite a bit of hoopla. We're gonna start a little micro segment that we're gonna call sports question mark. And then we're gonna explain things that are going on. So right now, a big thing that just I guess it's over now. It's all
Mhm.
done and dusted. But the tush push. So Josh, could you explain to us what is a tush push in football?
Yes. So, couple things here. The banning or the potential ban that was being voted on, the way it was worded was that a player cannot push or pull another player for a gain in yardage. That'll come in handy for when we explain what the tush push is. So, pushing and pulling for gain of yardage on the offensive side was to be banned.
Mm-hmm.
In order to get it to pass, they needed 24 of the 32 teams to vote yes. They only got 22 to vote yes, so 10 said no. So ultimately, the vote failed. Will it probably come up again next year? Yes, because I think this is going to be an ongoing battle. But
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
the tush push is pretty self explanatory. You have your offensive lineman in the front. The quarterback is going to line up under center and take a direct snap. From there, you have two players behind him, rather beefy guys.
Uh-huh.
They're going to have a hand and a shoulder on the quarterback's butt cheek, either side. Their job is to just shove the quarterback
Uh-huh.
forward. So the argument that people don't like about it is that it's kind of it's like a rugby play, is what they would say. It's not a
Uh-huh.
football play. It's not a pretty play.
No.
But here's the thing is that other teams have tried to use it, so you can't have like the comment that only the Eagles do it.
Yeah, so
The
the
only
Eagles made it big, right? So that's
Yeah,
important.
but
It's like
here's the
one
thing.
team is really good at this.
Only the Eagles do it well. All the
Yeah.
other teams that have tried to do it, they don't have nearly the same success rate. The Eagles have like a 92% success rate of them getting a first down because
Yeah.
it's a fourth down play.
Yeah. Fourth on play, fourth and extremely short,
Yeah,
right?
fourth and one situation, they're gonna
Yeah.
tush push it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the tush push lives on. So it'll probably
That's about it.
it's gonna be voted on again next year, but
Yeah. Yeah.
they'll get to that when they get to it.
Yeah.
Oh, but this was kind of fun. The final vote was 22 to 10. 22 yes, 10 no, and the 10
Mhm.
no won. This past year, the Eagles played the Packers, and the Eagles beat the Packers 22 to 10. Why that's important is because the people or the team that brought up having the Tush Push banned was the Packers. So, kind of a fun fact there. Keeping it in that same division there.
Yep.
With the Packers. The Lions, Aidan Hutchinson officially cleared for football activities this week. So, Aidan Hutchinson is a player on the Detroit Lions. He is
I could have guessed that.
Phenomenal defensive player, but he had a terrible, nasty leg injury this past year. Early on in the season, he was one of the many injuries that the Lions had this past year. So, but he's basically the leader of that defense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You could see him in there was an Allstate commercial where he's doing ballet, if you remember that one.
That guy. Oh, I know him.
Yeah, exactly.
You should have led with that. What the heck?
No, my bad.
Well, I bet the ballet had a big impact on his
recovery, for sure. Yeah.
For sure. Supposed to be good for your flexibility.
Next up, Fred Warner, who is a defensive player for the 49ers, signed a contract extension, 3 more years. So they are locked and loaded.
Locked and loaded.
Yeah, they offloaded some contracts this offseason, but they also onloaded a contract extension for him. George Kittle got a contract extension. And Brock Purdy, obviously, we talked about him last week, got a huge contract. So it was kind of understood that they were going to have to do this at some point. So still seems silly to me that they got rid of Deebo Samuel. But, can't have everything.
Just let you be in charge, I don't know why.
I mean, they had to pay Christian McCaffrey, too. And, he's getting a bukus of money. He just has to be healthy. Bukus of money.
That's a fun word.
Next piece of news here. Aaron Rodgers, a done deal to the Steelers? ? So,
this is a question mark?
The reason I put this in here is because two-part thing here. One, I believe it was the owner of the Steelers said, hey, we're fine waiting for Aaron Rodgers a little bit longer. He said that this past week. So they're going to hold out for Aaron Rodgers just a little bit longer. I've also read that there is a handshake agreement between the Steelers and Rodgers that he will come play with them. Finally, Rodgers was doing some piece of media over the weekend. I'm not sure where it was at or what it was for, but he was on a stage and there was a crowd in front of him asking him questions. And the girl's question was, would you ever consider playing for the Bears in the future? To which the person that was managing the microphone said, hey, can somebody escort this girl out? Because the Bears and the Packers hate each other, and obviously Rodgers, longtime Packers quarterback.
Yeah.
So he was like, no, I don't think so. But I do think there is a team that's playing the Bears this year, though. So I don't know. Maybe we'll see that if I'm in that stadium. The Steelers are playing the Bears this year. But obviously, there's multiple teams playing the Bears this year.
Yeah.
But that's the team that makes the most sense. So it seems like a done deal. I think really all he's waiting to do is wait for OTAs to be done so that he can just show up for regular training camp. But that was his thing, is that
what is OTA?
OTAs is it comes after mandatory minicamp, and it's like a conditioning thing.
You don't know what it stands for? I thought you knew about sports. Have you been lying to me?
Organized team activities.
Okay.
It's
we're gonna go
just called OTAs.
To a
no
team
one actually
bonding
No, so it's like a conditioning thing. But Aaron Rodgers is 41. He's been through quite a few of these at this point in his career. So I don't see him signing up to go to those if he doesn't have to. And so that's the thing is, last year, he went to mandatory minicamp for the first time in a long time for the Jets at the age of 40. He didn't do that a ton when he was with the Packers. Because, again, he's been in the league for he's at least 15. What? He's going on 20 though. Years in the league. So he's been through enough of these training camps to know what his body needs to be like. It's not like he's gaining a ton of weight in the offseason anyways. So the only real thing that he would be there for is building relationships with his teammates. And I guess he's thinking he can do that in a short enough amount of time. So, because if you talk to any of his former teammates, great teammate. Media won't tell you that, but
Yeah, me too.
That's what all his teammates say. So yeah, it seems to me that Rodgers is a done deal to the Steelers.
To you.
To me.
We will see.
We shall.
We shall.
We shall see.
We shall see.
Okay.
Well, the Knicks tried to lose. Well, they lost their first game against the Pacers.
Lost the first two.
Lost the first two. Yeah.
Both in the Garden. And
Yeah.
then last night's game was in Indiana. And at one point in the second quarter, the Pacers were up by 20 points. They would go on to lose that game, which is the third time in this postseason that the Knicks have come back from a 20-point deficit in a game.
That's a crazy stat.
It
Just
is
this
wild.
postseason. So how many games is that so far?
Both teams have. The Knicks have been pretty solid recently. They didn't have very many close. I don't have the exact number off the top of my head. I'd have to go look. Do you have it?
No, I don't. That's crazy though. Yeah.
Yeah, no, so and that's the two wins for the Pacers that they had at the beginning of the series, they were both in Madison Square Garden. So this one being in Indiana, there was I can't remember what the stat was, but I think like at home the Knicks are 3-5 in this postseason run, while they're 6-1 on the road. So pretty crazy stat.
Well, when do they play?
Tuesday, tomorrow. You got the Thunder versus the Timberwolves tonight. So that series is also 2-1.
Oh yeah.
OKC.
Yeah, we were watching that. Yeah. Okay.
What's your take on that one? You think Ant gets the
wasn't-
job done?
I don't know. I wasn't watching that one as closely,
Oh, okay.
but my cousin was very interested in that game.
So yeah, Knicks are not dead yet. So we'll see. I made my sports bet that the Pacers will win the series. I went ahead and cashed that out. Made a profit.
Yeah.
So there were plus odds to begin the whole thing, and then cashed out, took profit 50% on my bet. So I was happy with that. Plus, I didn't like what I saw last night out of the Pacers. They were looking a little too happy when they were up 20. They lost that lead. It got cut to 13 by halftime, and then it never looked like they came out of the locker room.
Okay.
I think they were overconfident.
Got cocky at the beginning, yeah.
Think they were feeling too good about themselves, and so, Knicks had a chip on the shoulder, and now it's like, don't let the Knicks get hope. Like, I think this next game for the Pacers,
let them get hope.
I just feel like if Knicks win the next one, it's going to be hard for the Pacers to bring it back. Like the Pacers, next game must win tomorrow for the Pacers. So, yeah. And then if they can get to that point, I think they have a 96% rate or chance of winning the series if they're up 3-1. So
96. That's your estimate.
No, that's the actual number for.
Oh, that's actually. Oh, I thought you just like pulled that number out of your.
No, it's 96% of the time when a team is up 3-1, they win the series.
Okay.
There's only been like a couple instances where that doesn't happen, and one of them is LeBron with the Cavs beating the Warriors. So, that was all I had on the Pacers next.
Yeah.
I haven't really watched the OKC.
There's so much going on. Can't watch everything.
No.
We're just two people.
We are.
Who have like jobs.
Had Panthers. Watched a little bit of hockey the other day. Panthers versus
I can't even.
Hurricanes.
How did that go?
Game 1, the Florida Panthers just like embarrassed the Carolina Hurricanes. And one of the Canes rookies decided to do a slap puck at Brad Marchand's head, who is a player for the Florida Panthers. That is a huge no-no. There is just a unwritten rule book of things that you can do. Obviously, hockey is one sport where fighting has persisted, which is an awesome thing. I don't think they should ever take that away.
Yeah.
But purposefully shooting a puck at somebody's head, that's not okay.
That's a bit much.
So Brad Marchand is a bruiser that got traded from Boston this season, immediately became a part of the team for the Panthers. So he notices that the puck flies by his head, Doesn't make contact, thankfully. Drops the gloves and then just pummels the dude, which
Well,
rightfully
I
so.
mean,
Yeah. So
yeah.
that's I think that series is a done deal. I think the Panthers just go ahead and win this whole thing based off of that. So that's really all I have to say on hockey.
Yeah, we don't know. And anyway, on to F1. You have some
Yeah.
things I don't know. I don't know nothing about F1, but
All right. So
you
this
get
is
excited
also going
about
to be
it.
our spicy snack. This weekend
Okay.
was Monaco, which is kind of unfortunate because one, it is the leadoff race before the Indy 500 starts. And the Indy 500 actually has a lot of passing, and there's exciting things that happen in that race. It's the
Hmm.
largest sporting event in the world. Crazy stat. Over
Really?
300 over 300,000 people are inside of the stadium when that race is running.
That's wild.
Yeah. So
That's wild.
it is crazy. And the amount of people that are in Indianapolis for that race, but not even at the race, huge. So, with that being said, Monaco happened. Jeff Bezos was there. You could see his monster yacht. It was double the size of the next largest yacht. But I say that to say this is that Monaco just kind of feels like a big status symbol. It feels like it's on the schedule because one, it's been a race for a long time. There's a lot of money around it. But two, it's because of the money that it's still on the
Uh-huh.
schedule. I don't think they're
Hmm.
doing it for the history anymore, which is a shame because watching the race is extremely boring. And I don't think that's a hot take. Last year,
Why? Why is that race boring?
the it's a street track. So you're on the streets of Monaco, and because the cars have gotten so large, you can't pass. So qualifying on Saturday is extremely important. When you get to the race on Sunday, because of how narrow the streets are and how large the cars are, you can't really pass anybody because there's not enough space. So you had a bunch of teams where one person would sacrifice themselves and hold up the whole crew behind. So your top five, well, your top four finished close to each other. That was Lando Norris, Charles Leclerc, Oscar Piastri, Max Verstappen. 45 seconds back is Lewis Hamilton coming in fifth. And then everyone behind him, so number 6 through 20, were all at least one lap behind the top five.
Oh, yeah.
And it was because,
Okay.
like, literally, like, they were just holding each other up so that their other teammate could get more points. And so they tried to fix it because last year everyone said the same thing. This race is boring. The starting 10 finished in the same 10 that they started in at the end of the race. So
Hmm.
there was no action where it mattered because only top 10 score points. So this year they mandated that you had to take at least 2 stops to change tires throughout the race because what happened last year is that, like, literally beginning of the race, there's a wreck, everybody pits, changes their tires, that covers the one tire change that you need for the whole race, and then they just race. So that's why
Hmm.
everybody finished in the same order that they were at the beginning. But this year, I mean, you just had guys purposefully going slow, knowing that nobody can pass them, and it
Yeah.
doesn't. It's a very boring product to watch,
Hmm.
and it's pretty lame, especially with how
Pretty lame,
exciting
dude.
F1 can be. Like, you got guys going 330 kilometers an hour, and then like over 200 through corners, like 90-degree turns. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
But not when you're watching this. So my spicy
Hmm.
take, cancel Monaco. Do you take it off the calendar until they can figure this out? The cars are supposed to get smaller when they revamp them, but I mean, it is a terrible product to watch. So it was like,
I have no comments, so
yeah, like there were
I
multiple
believe you.
times where like Leclerc was a tenth of a second off the back of Lando Norris, but he couldn't do anything
Yeah.
about it because he'd get close, but you can't pass because there's not enough space.
Hmm.
So that was Monaco. It was I watched it. It's a little boring though. So
Well, you know what wasn't boring? Vandy winning the SEC
that's
in
true.
baseball.
So, I guess if I had to choose an SEC team besides Tennessee to win this, I guess I'll
It
take
would be
Vandy.
Vandy.
Yeah, I am from
Yeah.
Nashville, so I feel like I have to take them. But it made me feel better about Tennessee's loss to Vandy after they go on to win the whole thing, you know?
They kicked our booties.
It was not a good game. But I don't want that to overshadow the fact that we beat Texas the day before that, who was the number one seed. They were the regular season SEC champs. We beat them in the 11th inning the day before that. So,
yeah, 11th? Only 11th?
I'm pretty sure it was the 11th. Yeah. So
yeah, that was wild.
that was a crazy game. But yeah, we got dumpstered on Saturday by Vandy.
But it's okay. What matters is that we're still going to the College World Series.
We're hosting.
That's hosting. Big. And little fun fact: SEC has the top 4 seeds.
Mm-hmm. We also
got how many teams? What, 14 of our teams? No.
13.
13 of our teams are going. That's crazy. Yep. That's crazy.
Most by any conference in history. Last record was also the SEC when we sent 11.
Enough said.
Just means more.
It just means more, baby. So yeah, go baseball.
Fun fact on the SEC too: we have won the last 5 World Series. At least one, like it's an SEC team for the last 5 years, and we've won. The SEC has won the last 6 of 7 World Series.
Okay. Wow.
So that's pretty good.
Pretty average.
Yeah, just all right.
Just all right. Yeah. Okay. Anything else on baseball?
No. Excited to watch it. So that's all I got to say there. Yeah.
Good for you.
Fun.
Well, on to girl dinner, where we nibble on all things women's sports.
Heyo.
Sad news. It looks like Caitlin Clark is out for a couple weeks with a quad strain of some sort. So that's a tough break.
R.I.P.
But hopefully it's just 2 weeks and then she's back at it.
Yeah, I think it even said like 1 to 2 weeks, so hopefully it's
it's
pretty quick turnaround here.
Hopefully it's just, precautionary. They didn't really give a lot of details while I was trying to find, so hopefully that means it's just precautionary and she'll be back quick. But I wanted to just kind of go over the WNBA a little bit. Have you been watching any of it?
Not while you were gone. I had to get through my Mission Impossible movies, if I'm being completely honest.
You see where your priorities.
I watched some other sports, but then I was like, all right, I got to get through. Because okay, quick tidbit here before we go into WNBA.
Yeah.
One, the reason I'm watching all of the Mission Impossibles is because I want to go see the new Mission Impossible in theaters, because I remember everybody saying how cool it was to go see the last Top Gun that came out in theaters. And I'm like, okay, this is the last ever Mission Impossible movie. It's a franchise that's been going for 29 years. That the first movie came out in 1996. Tom Cruise has been doing his own stunts the whole time. Kind of insane.
That's true. It's crazy that he's still doing it.
He yeeted himself off the side of a mountain on a dirt bike 16 times, I'm pretty sure, to get the shot for the last movie. So
that's like not like what?
He's nuts.
You know?
He's nuts. So I'm like, you know what? I want to see this in theaters. Send it off with a bang here. So I'm trying to get through all those. But I'd say that to say, we didn't have a Paramount Plus subscription. So I did a free trial, which means I have 7 days to get through all of the Mission Impossible
7
movies.
days.
So
how many days are left? You're almost done, right?
Yeah, I think I watched the first one Thursday night. So I got time. I
wanted to pull up. Well, the reason I asked you if you'd watched any of the games, we were watching. Was I home when we were watching? Who the frick? Skylar Diggins' team. What day was that? Hold on.
Are you asking me or?
I'm asking the ether, the world. I'm asking the universe. So, Seattle. When did Dallas play Seattle? May 19th. So yeah, okay, yeah. Because on Monday. On Monday, yes, duh, Monday. Anyway, they played against the Wings. Played against Seattle. I just think Paige Bueckers is so fun to watch. That's where I was going with this.
Yeah.
And like I was gonna ask what your thoughts were on that. Because like she herself is good. She's so good at assists. Like some of the like cut passes that she makes are like electric.
We did watch one of Paige Bueckers' games
Yes,
together
it
the
was
other
on
day.
Monday against Seattle, against Skylar Diggins' team.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. And she had some passes in that game that were just like going.
Yeah.
It was exciting.
No, I didn't watch many games after that, but I can speak on her college play at UConn. She was a beast.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And that was
I saw something.
Go ahead.
You go. There you go.
I was gonna say, like, I remember last year when she was going nuts at UConn, a lot of people were saying, like, y'all forgot before Paige's injury, she was the Caitlin Clark before Caitlin Clark was Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
I was trying to see how many times I could say Caitlin Clark right there. That was a tongue twister.
Yeah, all the C's.
Caitlin Clark, the Caitlin Clark says Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, she's fun to watch. So I don't know, but I mean, she was the first pick, so she's naturally. I mean, the first pick goes to the team that's struggling the most.
Yeah.
Put it that way. It's like it's crazy because they're not like watching them like they don't look bad. I don't know.
I mean, you got to think they're playing against other professional athletes, so
yeah,
stiff competition here.
I know it's a lot. I don't think they haven't won a single game this year so far. Their record is 0-4.
That's tough.
So,
that's
I think
hopefully,
it might be.
Hopefully they figure it out here soon.
Yeah, we were talking about finding picking a team, and I think I'm probably accidentally going to be a Wings fan.
That's fair. There's no shame in that.
Yeah. What about you? Have you put any thought into it?
I've really been cheering for, I hate being the bandwagoner here, but I've really been cheering for the Indiana Pacers this offseason because they're the underdog. Like, no one chose them to win the series against the Knicks. No one chose them to beat the Cavs. And they are just doing their thing, even though they dropped a 20-point lead last night. Besides that, they're doing their thing.
So you're just going to be full Indiana?
I think, yeah, I'll just adopt Indiana here, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you can wear your Wings merch. Or, sorry, no, you can wear your Fever merch. I'll wear my Wings merch.
I got a fever, and the only prescription.
What's
old cowbell? It's an SNL skit for anybody.
What is Indiana Fever? They're 2-2.
Not bad. Not too shabby. Yeah, there was almost like a
Liberty are undefeated. They've only played 3 games. Now, let's look at the standings. The Minnesota Lynx are leading. I guess that makes sense. With 4 wins. Okay. Well, in other women's sports news, Tennessee softball. Go Vols.
Go Vols.
Won the Super Regional. Is that what it's called? Wait. Tennessee softball won Super Regional versus Nebraska, which the timing of this was weird because I was just in Nebraska. And so we were like at bars and stuff and like I look up, I'm like, why the heck is Tennessee playing? No, it's Nebraska's playing. I'm like, why the heck do they have Tennessee on the TV and Nebraska?
Yeah.
Okay, Nebraska. Sorry, cousins. We beat you.
Hey-o.
To break it to y'all. But we did. Next up is Oklahoma on Thursday, May 29th. And then in fun associated news, our pitcher broke her own record at 79.4 miles per hour.
Nuts. So, go Vols, baby.
Go Vols. Go Vols.
Go Vols.
Yeah, for this week. I'm excited.
What do you think? Lady Vol's going to win the whole thing?
I mean, what kind of question is that?
Never a doubt.
Never a doubt in my mind. Yeah, that's all we got for this past week. This week there's a lot going on. I guess the NBA.
Yeah. I leave tomorrow for a work conference.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What am I going to get done while you're gone? That's the question.
That's a good question. Let's see. All right.
Are you going to make a to-do list? Do I get a honey-do list?
All I'm saying is I built the above ground planter this time while you were gone, while also cleaning up some of the downstairs. The last time I changed out the shower heads, I deep cleaned the entire upstairs and downstairs. I spent over like 10 hours cleaning last time that you were gone. Got all the house chores done. So we'll see. We'll see what you get done this week.
I feel like you're calling me out here.
I am. Throwing it down.
Listen, okay. Well, one thing's for sure is that we'll finally get some vegetables planted.
True.
I was like this close to just throwing out the seeds that I had started. Because I've started 3. I've started bell peppers, jalapenos, and tomatoes. And I was like, I was supposed to transplant them outside like 2 or 3 weeks ago. But we didn't have the bed finished yet. I was so close to just throwing them away. So they might be a little stunted. I guess I already have them, so I might as well plant them and see how it goes. But
yeah,
they might be a little stunted.
It can be a trial year, because I think you were trying to start these like 2 months ago, really. But
what do you mean? I did start them like 2 or 3 months ago.
Yeah, I know that, but like I feel like at least a month ago is when you were supposed to put them into the soil.
Did you hear me say that?
I know. I heard you say
ago?
Stunted. Yeah, I'm just saying,
Okay.
Like that's why I'm saying it's a trial year because you were supposed to have done that a month ago and you didn't get to. So for me, this is
that's
all
one thing I'll get done while you're gone.
Free trial,
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else will I do while you're gone? I don't know. Something I just thought of that's totally random. Like on airplanes, you're just sitting next to a stranger for hours.
Yeah.
And like you don't say a word, and like a lot of times you don't even like look them in the face.
Well, to be honest, you hope that you don't say a word to them. Sometimes you get that
That's
talkative neighbor. I remember
a little chit chat is fine.
I remember
friendly.
When I went on my work conference a couple years back, the dude next to me on the flight literally talked for the whole flight. It's like 3 hours of conversation with some random guy.
3 hours? No.
The guy was interesting, but it was also like, okay, I would like to just listen to Fleetwood Mac radio now, because yeah.
Yeah.
So
you have your headphones in the whole time, and you don't look at them.
Yep. Yeah.
For this reason.
He made a joke to me when he first sat down, and I joked back, and that was apparently the wrong thing to do.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So.
No, you messed up right there.
Maybe that's antisocial, but sometimes, like, for me, if I'm mentally and prepared to just zone out, take a nap on a plane, or play some type of game, or watch a movie or something, that's where I'm at. That is what I am predetermined on doing.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't tell you this either. There was one guy wearing flip-flops.
Mm-hmm.
And it just really irked me. And then he got up at the end to leave, and he was like the row behind me and across. And he got up while he's, because everybody stands up and just stands there while they wait to go.
Yeah, it's a race to see who can stand up first.
Literally. And I was in the aisle seat. He stood up and walked forward. He was literally, his elbow was right here. Like, I had to lean this, like he was about to elbow me in the face, and he kept moving too, like he wasn't trying to.
He had to beat you off the plane. It's plain and simple.
Dude, it is 11 p.m. I need you to give me some fucking space.
Those 5 seconds that he saved by getting in front of you on the exit there, massive. Huge. You could never understand.
No. Okay, well.
On that note.
I think that's it. It's been fun. The Wings play. This is one other thing I want to talk about. The Wings.
I'm sorry. I'm already throwing up the peace sign here.
Twice this week, at home and away. So, I'm interested to see how that game goes because they're both teams have lost every single game they've played.
Gonna be a competitive one.
Gotta be a good one. We'll talk about it next week.
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay, bye.
Bye.